Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Analytics Association on KCOU 88.1 FM. And man, oh man, is there a lot to talk about right now in sports. I'm Jack McGrath. I'm sitting alongside or across from, whichever you prefer, Adam Rosen, and we have a ton to talk about. Welcome back to Mizzou Arena, where the Missouri Tigers are taking on the Ole Miss Rebels in SEC basketball action. I'm Jack McGrath alongside Garrett Jones, and Missouri currently leads Ole Miss by a score of 31-27. Both teams 4-8 in the SEC, and after Florida beat Arkansas tonight, they're fighting for 10th place in the SEC Conference, which means a lot, Garrett. Yeah. I'm Jack McGrath with MUTV 23, and I'm at Mizzou Arena, where the Missouri Tigers women's basketball team will be taking on the Ole Miss Rebels. It's senior night here tonight, but Ole Miss is trying to spoil the party and pick up their first SEC win of the year. Welcome back to Mizzou Arena, where the Missouri Tigers are taking on the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss has stormed back into this game to take a 57-56 lead. They're on a 12-1 run right now at the under 8-minute mark. Garrett, Ole Miss just came back in this one. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Well, Brian Tyree has been unconscious lately. A 12-1 run over 2.5 minutes. That's pretty much all been on the shoulders of Brian Tyree. Mizzou, on the other hand, 0 for their last 4 on the field. No field goals in their last 3.5 minutes. That puts us right where we're at right now. Missouri had a 4-point lead at the break. Ole Miss outscoring them by 5 in the second frame.
In this half, it's really turned into Xavier Pinson versus Brian Tyree. Xavier Pinson with 24 on the night. Brian Tyree with 25 points today.
And it's funny because the first half was very much a rock fight. But if you would have told anybody this morning that, hey, Mizzou Ole Miss is going to turn into a Brian Tyree versus Xavier Pinson shootout, nobody would have been surprised. These two guys have been playing so well recently.
Pinson takes the ball up the floor, dishes it off to Kobe Brown. Free throw line extended, gives it off. Once again, it's Pinson on the right side. Pickett will take it. Top of the key.
Set play for Hanzo Martin out of the inbounds.
Here's Drew Smith for three. He's open. It's short. High bounce off the rim, and the rebound pulled down by Ole Miss.
4-14 from the field for Drew Smith. He's very cold. Missouri needs the ball in Pinson's hands down the stretch.
It's given off. Buffin has it on the weak side wing. Kobe Brown staying put on defense. Buffin has it high post. Kicks it out. Schuler gives it off, and now Tyree dribbling around the wing. Pulls up from the top of the key inside the three-point line. Shot is off to the left. Kobe Brown steps on the ball, and Ole Miss gets it back before a missed shot from Schuler. Ole Miss pulls down the rebound again. This time it's Buffin fouled down low by Kobe Brown. A strange sequence there.
That was really unfortunate for Missouri. Ole Miss missed a shot. The basketball hit the floor. There were 3 Tigers in the vicinity, but it came right back to Ole Miss. They put up another jumper, missed it, got the offensive board. It came right to them, and suddenly Missouri whacks them on their third possession. Now they're going to the free throw line. It's the crowd chants MIZ.
Buffin, a 69% free throw shooter on the year. Sinks the first. Clanks off the rim and in.
Buffin's been at the stripe a lot tonight. These are his 6th and 7th free throws, respectively.
58-56, Ole Miss leads Missouri with 6:51 to go in the second half, as the second free throw is long and no good as Mizzou pulls down the rebound. Here comes Xavier Pinson.
How about this? This is Ole Miss's largest lead of the game.
2 points, largest lead. Pinson has it at the top of the key, working off the screen for Parker Brown. Brown rolls off the screen. Defender hits the floor. That's C who hits the floor. Now Pickett has an open three, and he drains it from the left side corner.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than be good. Missouri nearly turned the ball over, but it went off the carom to the Tiger in the corner, and Pickett in the right place at the right time.
Pinson has it, dribbles around the wing. Hands it off. Here's Buffin. Buffin trying to work down low. C's calling for the ball at the high post. Instead, they give it to Schuler, who gets it to Buffin. Wide open three is no good. It's long off the rim. Rebound pulled down by Parker Brown.
Kermit Davis irate on the sideline, and rightfully so. That's not Buffin's game. That's not what Ole Miss wants. He's just a 21% three-point shooter.
Drew Smith has it. Weak side wing. One dribble with the left before he gives it off to Pinson. Pinson working from the right side. Takes it himself, goes in the lane, cuts through the lane, misses high off the glass, is short. Rebound pulled down by Ole Miss. Here comes Tyree. It's off his hands. He loses the ball going up for the layup. And it'll be Missouri basketball off of his hands and off of his leg. Good defense by Drew Smith in transition.
Yeah, they're going to give him a steal, and no surprise there. He leads the conference with 2.1 steals per game. I would go as far to say he's the best one-on-one on-ball defender in the SEC. And Breon Tyree just went right at him, and Drew Smith took it right out of his hands. Missouri
has forced 14 turnovers tonight. They have now forced over 10 turnovers in 25 of their 26 games. 59-58, Missouri leads over Ole Miss. 5:25 to go in the second half. Drew Smith dumps it down low to Parker Brown, who kicks it back out. Underneath Pickett, his defender hits the floor. The basket goes in. Waiting for a signal. Looks like it's going to be an offensive foul. It's going to be Pickett's third foul, team's ninth. The Ole Miss basketball, they'll have to take the length of the court with 5:20 to go in the second half.
Yeah, they're going to get Pickett on the charge. It was KJ Buffin who took it. Great job of him keeping his feet set and out of the restricted area. We've got a ball game, Jack.
We do have a ball game. Ole Miss basketball down by 1. 5 minutes to go. Here's Tyree. He's been doing all the work for Ole Miss tonight. He's poked away. Good hands by Xavier Pinson. It hits the floor and rolls slowly out of bounds. And it'll stay on this end. It'll be Ole Miss basketball underneath their own basket.
Yeah, that ball went out of bounds off of Drew Smith. There were two Rebels in the vicinity. Both of them did well to keep their hands off that basketball in Missouri with a costly turnover.
Tyree will inbound underneath the basket. He's pressured by Pickett. Smith tries to take it away, and a foul is called. So Ole Miss will be going to the free throw line. That'll be Devontae Shuler going to the line.
And the game is definitely hanging in the balance with a one-point contest with 5 minutes left. But that very well could have changed the result. Drew Smith picked up his fourth personal, one more, and he's done for the night.
Devontae Shuler at the line for 2. That's the 10th team foul on Missouri. Shuler sinks the first.
That's his first point of the game. How about that? This guy came in averaging near a dozen. And his first one comes with 5 minutes left in the game.
Here's the second from Shuler. A 65% free throw shooter on the year, and he misses that one. Long off the rim. Rebound pulled down by Parker Brown.
The Alligator armed it. It was a long rebound for Missouri.
We have a tie basketball game with just under 5 minutes to go in the second half. SEC seeding on the line. Drew Smith has it. He's holding it. He's waiting for a play to develop. Tries to get it to Parker Brown down low before he holds it. Javon Pickett cuts through the lane with the left hand before a good backdoor pass to Parker Brown, who misses the slam dunk, but a foul is called, so he'll be going to the line for 2. Blake Pinson got a piece of his left hand as Parker Brown tried to throw it down.
First off, I do not know how the Missouri player who made that entry pass, it looked like it was Pickett, to Parker Brown found him there. I mean, he had eyes on the back of his head, swam around an Ole Miss defender, and then made the bounce pass.
Brown misses the first free throw.
But that's that missed basket is on Parker Brown because he was going for the highlight reel dunk. He should have just tried to lay it in or take it up simply with one hand. He's only a redshirt freshman. I said he was a sophomore earlier. He's actually a redshirt freshman. It's time to work on this stuff under Conzo Martin.
Misses the second as well, so he's now 2 of 4 from the line on the night. He's 3 of 8 this season. 4:30 to go, 59-59. Is the score. It's off the foot of Mitchell Smith and will go out of bounds. It'll stay on this end and be Ole Miss basketball underneath their own basket. 4:27 to go. We got a tie basketball game here at Mizzou Arena. 21 seconds will be on the shot clock. Ole Miss inbounds. They're going to throw it high up to Tyree, who will take it at the top of the key. Wide open 3 for Buffin. He's going to pass up this time. He has not hit a three-pointer yet today. Tyree, step back 3 over Drew Smith. It's no good. Short off the rim, and Karams all the way out of bounds and unable to corral it is Buffin, so it'll be Missouri basketball.
Yeah, that time it just carried an Ole Miss player out of bounds near his head coach. Mitchell Smith went inbound there for Missouri.
Xavier Pinson will dribble it up the floor. The floor general right now for Missouri. He's going to try to hand it off to Drew Smith before he hits the deck. Keeps his dribble, gets back up. Pinson cuts across the lane with through the left side with his left hand. Looks like there was a tip in there. Somebody got a hand on that. It goes in. They're going to give the basket to Xavier Pinson. What do you know? What else would you expect at this point? 61-59. Missouri leads over Ole Miss. 3:47 to go in the second half. And the crowd is getting into it. And
We are on our feet here at Mizzou Arena.
Speaking of conference tournaments, though, that might have some extra time to watch. Big East and Big Ten. Probably the two best conferences in college basketball, correct?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you.
I was having this debate the other day. What conference is better?
It's hard.
It's hard. You said immediately when I said this that you thought it might be the Big Ten.
But as I've talked about, I actually wrote the Big East preview for the conference for tournaments for KCOU. Check that out.
Check those out on
KCOU.fm.
KCOU.fm.
Yes, everyone who did it.
Leading up to the NCAA tournament and throughout the conference tournament.
Everyone worked so hard on it. Everyone did a great job. I wrote for the Big East.
Yeah, everybody's writing different previews for each different conference. It's really interesting just to get a glance at a lot of the smaller conferences, too. Those are some really good reads if you want to check that out on KCOU.fm. I would highly encourage reading it. So you were mentioning you wrote for the Big East?
Yes, I did.
And so what did you pick up from that? Because you said you were thinking Big Ten and then you wrote for the Big East. So what changed your mind?
So I would say, because if you think about it, what the Big East has done, I mean, obviously Big East has the best, I think the best coach in basketball, college basketball, and Jay Wright. Wow, I almost said Jay Williams.
Jay Wright out of Villanova.
Yes. And then Seton Hall's been great this year. Providence is my dark horse to come out. Is a dark horse. I would say I'll even go to my article. I'm not going to spoil too much, but I would say the Providence Friars are the dark horse because obviously I would still say Villanova is the favorite and then Butler and Seton Hall and other teams in that conference. I mean,
Creighton is insane.
They're
this
all
year.
good, but
Creighton might be the best team in that conference.
I wouldn't say beating the Villanova would be an upset for them because they could potentially do it. So I wouldn't say that's like a dark horse underdog. My dark horse would be Providence because they are scary. They are scary. They're like not as like I wouldn't say they're as exciting as that Loyola team, but they are like they kind of remind me of them a little bit because they're on the bubble right now, being a 9 or a 10. I'd say they're overlooked by a lot, and that's what makes them dangerous. They're actually 19-12 now, I believe. So their leading scorer, they can get hot. Alpha Diallo can get hot. By the way, great name. I think they can be a bracket buster in the Big Dance if they get there. If they can make a decent run, watch out. But I would say the Big East, it's harder because the Big Ten has more teams.
Big Ten has 14 teams. The Big East only at 10 at the moment as it stands.
The Big 14. Just kidding. Still weird. But I would definitely say the Big East. I think it's very close. But I'd say the Big East it's marginally better just because it's hard when you have more teams to look at.
So you look top to bottom in the Big East. At the top, you have Creighton, Seton Hall, Villanova, those top tier teams that we were talking about. But then you scroll down to the bottom of the standings, and you're looking at St. John's and DePaul.
Oof.
DePaul went 3-15 in Big East play, right?
Yeah,
but they were 12-1
and then
in non-conference play.
And now they're gonna extend Dave Letau. Apparently,
they were 12
That's so bad.
and 1 in non-conference play.
If they had
and went 3-15 in the Big East. I think that's a testament to how good the Big East is. If you look at the Big East in general, they have the best record out of any conference.
Yeah.
In non-conference play.
I would agree with you.
They beat up on each other, but they beat up on everybody else.
That's what else the Big Ten. That's what the Big Ten does, but they also don't beat up on each other. The Big Ten does not as much as the Big East on other conferences. Big Ten beats up on each other, but not on other teams like the Big East has done this year. But again, I think the thing with DePaul is I don't know if it's not just about how they did out of conference, but DePaul is. I mean, it's not a testament to the Big East and how great they were. Obviously, the Big East dominated DePaul. That is a testament to how horrendous the coaching is. Dave Letau, and apparently, according to Jeff Goodman and a friend of mine, Lawrence Kramer, who is the DePaulia sports editor, saying they are potentially going to extend Dave Letau, which is just an awful idea.
You look at the top of the Big Ten.
But back to
our debate about the Big Ten and the Big East. You look at the top of the Big Ten. Stacked. Absolutely stacked. If you look at the top 12 out of the top 14 teams, their average net ranking, which is what the NCAA is using to calculate, basically, it's instead of the RPI, if you remember RPI rankings from a few years ago, the net rankings are basically similar. It's an algorithm that hasn't necessarily even been defined yet, but it's basically the best algorithm that has been come up with to rank teams. If you look at the top 12 out of the top 14 teams in the Big Ten, they have an average ranking of 30. 30 and a half. So basically 30 to 31. If you look at the Big East, if you look at all 10 teams from the Big East, you're looking at more of a 38. But then you look at those two bottom feeders in the Big Ten, and this is where I kind of move towards the Big East. Because top to bottom, the Big East has no team that's not in the top 100 of net rankings. You look at the bottom of the Big Ten, and they have Nebraska and Northwestern bottom feeding there, right? And that moves them all the way up to an average net ranking within the conference of 58, which means the Big East is significantly better than them if you look top to bottom conference-wise. Now, while the Big Ten might be more top-heavy, I would argue the Big East is better top to bottom. I don't know if you agree with me there, Adam.
I would say you're right. Big East is better.
So I put this on the craziness calibrator because the consensus that I've heard is that the Big Ten's better. I said, what's the craziness level that the Big East is better than the Big Ten? I would say that's a 2, maybe a 3. It's not a crazy take at all. It's lower on our craziness calibrator that we've just implemented. Once again, our craziness calibrator, we just implemented it last week. When we have a hot take, we're going to take it and we're going to rate it. 1 being means it's more likely than not. It's a probable thing, where 10 means it's absolutely crazy and we're blowing things out of proportion. So that's where our craziness calibrator is. So I'm going to put that as a 3 on our craziness calibrator. Now, we've seen parity all year in the NCAA, right, Adam?
It's been great.
It's been great. And it's going to be a completely different atmosphere this year within NCAA tournament games because there's going to be no fans, which was just recently announced, in those games. Limited fans. We'll see some family and things like that. Some media still as well. Are we primed for the craziest tournament we have ever seen? Because that was the talk earlier in the year.
I like that. I think it could be.
I think there's a chance. It's going to be like no other tournament we've ever seen before.
Nobody? Yeah. I see it.
Does that benefit? I feel like it hurts underdogs because you can't feed off the fans. Fans generally cheer for underdogs, especially in the NCAA tournament. So I think it hurts the Cinderella teams a little bit. But at the same point, this is going to be something we've never seen before in this type of level of sporting event. It's going to be unprecedented. It's going to be crazy. And for that reason, I think we're not wrong to put it on the craziness calibrator as maybe a 4 or a 3, that this could be the craziest, most wild, unseen NCAA tournament in years.
After a hard-fought game, Missouri was able to pull it out on its senior night, defeating Ole Miss by a score of 82-67. Asia Blackwell led the way with 20 points and 10 rebounds, a double-double. Haley Frank chipped in with 22 points of her own, shooting 7 of 7 from the field tonight. It was all hugs all over the court as the seniors were pulled on senior night, an emotional night for the Tigers, and they're happy they could get a win. For 23 Sports, I'm Jack McGrath.